Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to do a very simple, actually very interesting project. We're going to go ahead and build a very simple voice assistant using ChatGPT. That's going to be powered by ChatGPT. So this voice assistant is going to be doing a couple of things. So let me just run the code and demonstrate you what this bot is going to be able to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the code right here. So I'm going to run the code, and once it begins running, I can go ahead and issue a wake up word. So I'm going to say, "Hello James."
Hello,
James.
Prince. How can I help you?
What is the biggest YouTube channel?
As an AI language model, I do not have access to real-time information, which means I cannot identify the biggest YouTube channel currently. However, according to Social Blade, as of October 2021, the YouTube channel with the most subscribers is T-Series with over 197 million subscribers, followed by PewDiePie with over 111 million subscribers.
Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Generate image of man on the moon.
I'm sorry, but as an AI language model, I do not have the capability to create images. However, I can describe to you what the image of a man on the moon looks like.
So as you can see, our bot is doing everything you're going to tell it to do. So right now, I want to instruct the bot to write for me a C++ code just to print hello world. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and instruct the bot to do exactly just. So I'm going to simply stop the bot for now. So I'm going to hit Control C to exit, and I'm going to go ahead and clear the terminal. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my VS Code. So I'm going to open up my VS Code, or feel free to use any editor that you're comfortable using. So right now you can see I have no coding file here. So I'm going to tell the bot to write a program to print hello world in C++. Okay, and if after it does that, we'll see the file containing that source code. Okay, so let's go ahead and instruct the bot on to do that. So I'm going to go in here and rerun the code again. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in C++.
Hashtag include iostream. Using namespace std. Int main. Code hello world. End L. Return 0.
So you can see we have the program right here. So you can see even open up VS Code and does that for us automatically. So I'm not the one who was controlling it. It was doing everything automatically. When it generated the image, it opened the image automatically. When it generated the source code, it opened VS Code and displayed to me the code automatically and saved that code in a file. And this is the file of the code, the file containing the code. So it does all this automatically without me having to instruct it to do anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and build a bot just like this in Python. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let me just exit this right now. So exit this and clear the terminal. So I'm just going to clear CLS because I'm on Windows. So I'm going to go back a couple of directories, and here I'm going to go ahead and create a directory. So I'm going to use mkdraw, and I'm going to call this directory, let's say vi assistant. So assistant. Okay, and press enter. So I'm going to change directory into vi_assistant, and then simply once I'm in there, I can do dir. You can see right now we have nothing inside of it. So the first thing I want us to go ahead and do is to create a virtual environment. And to create a virtual environment, you can just say pi and then vnv, first pi -m vnv. You're going to call our virtual environment vnv. So this name could be anything that you want, but I'm going to call ours vnv. Okay, so press enter, and that's going to go ahead and create a virtual environment on inside of our folder called VA assistant. So if I do a dir, now you're supposed to see a virtual environment right here, which was previously not there. So you can see it was not there, but now we have it. Okay, so once everything is done, I'm just going to go ahead and clear the terminal. And once I have the terminal cleared, I'm going to go ahead and install activate our environment. Actually, I'm going to deactivate the environment I have currently. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and activate the environment I have created right now. So I'm going to go ahead and simply do /vnv/scripts /vnv. Okay, sorry, activate just like that, and press enter. So let me see right here. It says that system cannot find. Let me just see. That. So let me just do a dir. Okay, if you have that there. So I don't know why it's not activating. So let me just declare that and run that again. Let me see, delete that and run that again. So activate. Okay, let me do. I think I have to say activate.bat. Okay, so the command is a bit different on Windows, and sometimes I really forget this command. So I got the spelling of scripts wrong, so my bad for that. So I'm using these scripts. Okay, so press enter. Now you have our virtual environment created, and you can see it's activated, and you can know it's activated if you can see the name of the folder containing the virtual environment within parentheses in front of the line. So that shows our virtual environment is created. So sorry for that typo. So once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and clear the terminal. So once I have the terminal cleared, we need to install a couple of libraries. So first of all, we need to go ahead and install a speech recognition library. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my browser or go into the internet and just search for the speech recognition in Python, or go to the pypy.org and just search for speech recognition. I'm going to use this command. I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to go back into my terminal and make sure the virtual environment is activated. Okay, so just paste that in there and just press enter. Okay, so once this is done, it's going to go ahead and install that library first. We also need another library. We're going to be installing this library right here, which is going to convert our text to speech, right? So it's just a text to speech library in Python. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. You can read more about this library if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this command right here, go back into my terminal, and then paste it in there to install this specific library. Okay, so once I have that running, I'm going to go ahead and install another library. It's going to be called let me just get, it's going to be called, you're going to also install .env. So I'm going to go ahead and install this library as well. So just copy that as well and go back in here and just simply copy and paste this as well. Okay, so I'm going a bit fast because I don't want to waste your time. So if you feel that I'm going too fast, you can pause the videos and then read type out this command yourself. Also, I'm going to install a library called Open AI, which is going to help us to interact with the Open AI library. Okay, so if you go right here, if you go back to the Open AI documentation, you can read more about this. You can go to OpenAI, you can go to beta.openai, or you can go to platform. I think it was previously platform.openai.com. Okay, so just go to platform.openai.com. You can go ahead and create an account. I have an account created. Okay, so once you have an account created, let me just go under library section and then copy this command to install the library in Python. So if you're using other languages or stuff like that, the instruction for this, but in this case you're going to be using Python, so I'm going to simply copy this command, go back in here and simply paste that to install it. Okay, so that's going to install for us the OpenAI library that can help us to interact with ChatGPT. Okay, so once we have that down, now you need an API key. So go click on your name right here. Once you have registered, click on view API keys. So once you click on that, you can go ahead and generate an API key. So just go ahead and say generate an API key, and then finally you put in the name of the API key right here. Okay, so for now I'll come back to this in a second. Okay, so once we have all that done running, we can go ahead and begin to code. So I'm going to go ahead and simply open this up in my VS Code. Okay, so once I have my VS Code open up, what are we going to do next? So I'm going to first go ahead and create a simple file. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a file. I'm going to call this one, I'm going to call it version underscore 01.py. Okay, because we're going to create two versions. The first one is going to be a rough demo, and then we'll improve on that and clean up the code a bit. Okay, so in there I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things. I'm going to import speech. This is going to be speech recognition. I'm going to import as SR. We're going to go ahead and import pyttx. We're going to import it as ttx. Okay, we're also going to go ahead and import system. Okay, so we're going to also go ahead and import OpenAI, the library that we just installed. I'm going to also go ahead and import let's see what else we need. We're going to import OS to read the environment variables, which we're going to be using. We're also going to go ahead and import web browser, because we're going to use this one to open our image in the web browser. Remember, our image open up in the web browser, so we're going to do the same. We're going to say from .env. I'm going to go ahead and import load env. Okay, so this is going to help us to load our environment. So we're going to say load load env. Okay, so I'm going to say load env, and then you can pass in the path to that virtual the path to your env file. So we're going to go ahead and create an env file here. We're going to call it env. Okay, so good. So we're going to go ahead, and this is going to be actually a string. So let's make sure you keep this in either single quotes or double quotes. So I'm going to go in here, create a file. I'm going to call it .env. Okay, so I'm going to have the file in here, and this we're going to keep our code for our API key. to ChatGPT. So I'm going to say GPT underscore API underscore key, and you're going to go ahead and say this key is going to be equals to, and I'm going to go ahead and generate an API key. So I'm going to go ahead, click on this. You're going to say tutorial. Okay, tutorial, just like that, and press enter. That's going to go ahead and generate an API key. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to click done, and I'm going to go in here and paste that API key. Okay, so this is my API key that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to delete this after the video, so don't think you're going to go ahead and use my API key. Just go ahead, create your own and use your own API key. Okay, so once we have that out of the way, let's go back in here, and this is going to help us to load our environment variable. Okay, so we have everything, all the basics done. So now let's begin to code. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do, we're going to have a function. We're going to call this function, which is going to be our main bot. So we're going to call it dev. You're going to call GPT underscore bot, and you're going to go ahead and specify a couple of things. Okay, we're going to take a couple of things. We're going to take a recognizer, and recognizer is what you're going to be using to recognize the sound. So I'm going to say it's going to be of type SR, which is our speech recognition dot recognizer. You're also going to have a mic that you're going to be using, and you're going to say sr.microphone, just like that. Okay, so once we have that done, and I'm going to go ahead and simply say pass, and you're going to go ahead and create an entry point into our program. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to create an entry point. So if underscore name equals to quotes underscore main underscore, then I'm going to go ahead here and write the code for that. So I'm going to go ahead, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to create recognizer, because this function is going to be expecting a recognizer. So I'm going to say create a recognizer, and I'm also going to go ahead and say R. This recognizer, I'm going to call it R. I'm going to say S. So it's going to be SR dot recognizer. So recognizer, and then simply create an instance of that. So great. So once we have that done, I'm also going to go ahead and create a mic. So create a mic. Okay, so this is going to be M, and you're going to call our mic M. You can call it a microphone if you want to be more descriptive and to follow best standards. Okay, so I'm going to say microphone, just like that, and you can say device index, and I'm going to be using 14 because that's my microphone. So you can actually just run a code to find the different device indexes, and I'm not going to go ahead and actually show this, but you can do this. I'm going to leave let me see if I can simply demonstrate this to you, but it's a bit longer of a code. So let me see if it is shown on the documentation right here. If not, I'll leave a link to in the description where you can find a way to list all your available microphones of your on your computer. So let me see, it's gonna be SR. So SR. Okay, let me just go back to SR. So this is where SR was. Okay, so if you go here, maybe it's on the documentation, I think so. But if you don't find the documentation, again, I will leave a code. Okay, I think this is it right here. So you just go to the documentation and copy this code, and this is going to list out all the available microphones you have. Okay, and then you select the index of the microphone that you want to use. In my case, I want to use the microphone with an index of 14 because I've already done the testing, so I know which microphone I want to use. Okay, so in your case, you just have to go ahead and find the microphone that you're interested in using. Okay, so let's not waste any more time, and let's just go ahead and call that function. So call bot function, just right here. So we're going to go ahead and call that bot function. We're going to say GPT bot, and we're going to go ahead and pass in R, which is going to be our recognizer. So I'm going to say recognizer, and recognizer is going to be R, and we're going to have our mic. And our microphone is going to be M, simply M. So we have our mic and our recognizer passed in. So once we have that done, we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and simply run the code. So I'm going to say py, and the name of the file is going to be called, the file name is going to be version 01.py. So if I run this, we can see we have an issue right here. So I think we need to go ahead and install py audio. So just go ahead and say pip install py audio, just like that, and run this. Okay, so sometimes you have this issue, so sometimes you just have to install the additional library. So you can see right now everything is working fine. So make sure you have py audio installed. So good, you are good to go. Okay, so once we have that down, let's go back into the code and let's write the code. Okay, so the code to do our stuff, right? So the first thing we're going to do to do is, first of all, we make sure whatever has been passed in is an instance of recognizer and stuff like that. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and write a couple of if statements to make sure we check if whatever has been passed in is correct. So the first thing we want to do is, first of all, we want to instantiate the speaker. So the speaker is what we're going to be using to convert our text to speech. Basically, we're going to be using this library right here to convert our text to speech. So we're going to go ahead and create an initializer of that. So we're going to go ahead and say speaker. So speaker, Speaker is going to be tts.init, just like that. And you're going to go ahead and also go ahead and say speaker, right? You're going to go ahead and set some parameters of speaker. Okay, so let's just say set speaker. Let me just say set speaker rate. Okay, don't be a speaker rate basically. So we're going to say speaker dot set property, and you're going to go ahead and say the rate. Let me get that right. The rate is going to be equals to 150. That's basically it. So we're going to set the rate of the for our speaker to 150. And again, this can be any basically any integer you want. I just did them experiments and found that 150 is quite good for me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check if we have the correct instances. So check if we have correct instances. Instances. Let me get the spelling right. So instance. Okay, instance. Okay, so that's it. And I'm going to go ahead and say if not is instance. We're going to check if not the recognizer is if it's an instance of sr.recognizer. So sr.recognizer. We're going to check if that's true. And if that's the case, then you're going to go, if that's not the case, if that's, you have a not, so if that's not the case, you're going to go ahead and simply raise an exception, which is going to be a type error exception. And it's going to say recognizer argument is not of type sr.recognizer. So you can just basically pass in any argument you want at this point, but I'm just going to have it say that. Okay, so that's it. So once I have that, I'm going to have another instance to check the arguments, or if the correct argument we have is if the correct instance that have been passed in is of microphone type. So I'm going to say if not is instance is in instance of we're going to check mic. If the mic is going to be an instance of sr dot microphone, we're going to check if that's true. If that's not true, we're going to go ahead and simply raise another exception. So I'm going to copy that, paste it in here, and then I'm going to say mic it's going to be xr.microphone. Good. So once we have everything done there, we are good to go. So our function now basically check if the correct instances have been passed in, right? Because we don't want anyone passing in the wrong instances. So once we have them, I'm going to now go ahead and write a while true statement. Going to be an infinite loop, because we want the bot to be always listening. So what you want to do, first of all, you want the robot or the voice assistants to adjust to the ambient noise in the background. Ambient noise is basically the surrounding noise, because everywhere you are there's some kind of surrounding noise, right? So we want the bot to be able to adjust to that. So I'm going to go ahead and say with mic source, right? You're going to say recognizer dot adjust to adjust for the ambient sound noise. Basically, you're going to say source, and source is going to pass in source, and you're going to say source because you've said mic is our source, so you're going to pass in source, and you're going to say duration. We're going to give it 0.5. Okay, that's our duration. Okay, because you don't want to spend a lot of time just waiting to adjust to the ambient sound in our background. So once we have that done, we are good to go. So also one thing I want to go ahead and also say, I'm going to say the audio is going to be equals to recognizer dot listen. You're going to listen to the sound, and you're going to listen to our source. Because our source is basically our microphone, so we're going to be listening into our microphone and picking up whatever the user is saying. And our microphone is the microphone with a specific index that we passed in right here. So we're going to be listening for an audio to audio. After we listen to audio, we're going to have a try and except block. Okay, so in this try and except block, what I want to do, I want to convert the audio to text basically. So I want to convert the audio to text using Google Speech API. So I'm going to go ahead and simply say this one will be convert audio to text. Okay, so we're going to convert the audio to text. I'm going to say text. I'm going to go ahead and get the text, and the text is going to be equals to recognizer dot recognize let's see recognize Google, because we have a lot of options, Amazon and all that. We're going to be using Google speech recognition. So we're going to recognize underscore Google, and then you're going to, what are you going to try to recognize? You're going to be trying to recognize an audio. So we're going to say audio. Okay, basically this audio that you have listened to. Okay, so let me just go ahead and also pass in the try and accept. Okay, so accept. So what is this except block going to do? So this except block is going to handle a couple of things. We're going to say sr dot unknown error. So we're going to go ahead and say unknown error. We're going to go ahead and print to let the user know. So let's say Google speech. Because a problem with Google speech recognition could not understand, something just like that, to let the user know. You're also going to have another exception right here. Second exception, except sr dot request let's see, request error. You're going to accept this as e. And what you're going to go ahead and do, you're going to simply say print, and I'm going to use an f string right here, and I'm saying could not request results from Google speech recognition. So Google speech recognition. Okay, so recognizer, basically this is say anything, and then you're going to go ahead and pass in the error right here. So that's basically it. So that's why I'm using an f string, so you can pass in the error. Okay, so sorry if you are hearing any background, any like thunder sound in my background. It's kind of currently raining where I am right now. So yeah, so once we have that done, we have recognized, we have converted basically the audio which the user has spoke into the mic into text. Now we can use that text to pass instructions to ChatGPT to do anything that we want it to do in this case. But I don't want just to pass any random noise, right? So we want a wake up word. So what's the wake up word? For example, if you're using a Siri, right? If you're an iPhone user, you say hello Siri, right? And then you pass what commands you want, because Siri is not always listening to anything that you're saying, right? So you have to first wake up Siri. You have to first make up call Siri, basically. So that's basically what we call a wake up word in voice assistance. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and define our wake up word here. So I'm going to say if I'm just going to say hello James in text.lower. We are converting it to lower because we don't want to have any issue of uppercase, one being uppercase and another one being lowercase, and then uppercase like capital J is not equal to small letter j. Those are two different things, right? So once we say hello world, which is our wake up word, we want the bot to reply back to us. So I'm going to say speaker, and speaker is going to speaker.say and you're going to say hello Prince, how can I help you? Okay, so hello Prince, how can I help you? That's basically what the bot is going to say. Basically, you can program it to say anything you want, but as we're just going to keep it simple, and let's say this. So we're going to say speaker, which is going to be our speaking object, because converting our text to speech is going to say hello Prince, how can I help you? And then finally, I want to go ahead and also say speaker dot run until wait, and then call that, and this is going to go ahead and make sure the sound goes off. Okay, goes on. So that's basically. So let's try this and see if it works. So go back into our into our terminal, and then run the code again. So we're going to wait for it to adjust to some background noise. Now you can see I'm talking, but the bot is not doing anything. But let me just say the wake up word. Hello James. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Okay guys, you can see that we have that working fine. So it now recognizes our wake up word. So now we have the wake up word done. Let's go ahead now. Once you say hello Prince, how can I help you? Now it's going to go ahead and listen for whatever instruction you're going to get. So you're going to say listen for instructions. You're going to go ahead and say audio is going to be equals to recognizer dot listen, and you're going to go ahead and pass in our source right here. So source, just like that. And then you're going to go ahead and say text is going to be equals to recognizer dot recognize, and you're going to recognize underscore Google, and you're going to go ahead and say audio. So audio, just like that. So that's basically it. So basically listen to the audio and then convert the audio into text. So once we have that done, we can now pass these test instructions to ChatGPT to do anything you want. So we're going to have a couple of if statements and stuff like that. So first of all, let's go ahead and let's see a couple of things I want to do. So okay, so we can also write an exit statement if you want to, but let's just wait and see. So you can also write an exit statement. So just say if exit. Okay, let's say if exit in text.lower. Okay, we're converting to lowercase just to avoid any like casing issues. Okay, so if if you say exit, you want to close the program. So we're going to say speaker dot say, and then you're going to say by prints, and then finally you're going to go ahead and say speaker dot run. Okay, let me get the spelling right. So speaker dot run until wait, and then finally you're going to go ahead and simply say system dot exit. Basically just exit our program. We pass in 0 and to exit our program. So let's go ahead and try this if it works, and let's go ahead and run the code again. So run. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Exit.
Bye Prince.
Good. So you can see our program now works fine. So now the wake up word, and also now the exit functionality works. Okay, good. So now we have everything done. So if in case the user didn't say exit, what you're going to go ahead and do is actually write the program to now send commands to ChatGPT. So I'm going to go ahead and say else. Okay, so sorry, let me just clear that. So I'm going to say else. We're going to go ahead and say open AI, right? Open AI underscore response is going to be equals to open AI. So we're going to say open AI dot chat completion, and you're going to go ahead and simply say dot create. So this is a function. You can also read about these functions on the official documentation of OpenAI. So you can read about all this if you want. So you can go to the docs and then chat completion, and then read about it all here. So that's basically it. So that's all we want to do in this case. Okay, so nothing complicated. So we're going to pass in the model and other stuff like this. So I'm going to go ahead and simply copy this, and also yeah, so let's copy that, go in here. We're going to go ahead and specify the model. Okay, you're also going to specify the messages. Okay, so you can say messages, and it's going to be a list of messages, right? So that's basically it. You can go ahead and say role. So role, and then you can go ahead and say role is going to be system. Okay, so system as a role, and then finally you're going to have content. So this is going to be also let me just also, we can put this in another line if you want, but just keep it on one line because it's nothing long. So the content is going to be the text that the user said. So basically it's passing the text that the user said to our bot. Basically it's going to be ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is going to go ahead and give us a response. So what do we want to do with this response? So from this response, we want to go ahead and extract the response text. Okay, so I'm going to say response underscore text is going to be equals to OpenAI response, right, dot get, and then finally you're going to say choices. This is going to be string, so string of choice choices. You're going to get the very first character. Again, you can print this out to see whatever you're going to get, but I don't really want to take so much time on this, so I'm just going to go ahead because we have a lot of things to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and simply type it in. Again, if you want, you can print it out and observe it for yourself. This is just a dictionary, right? So once we have it, I'm going to go ahead and say speaker dot say, and you're going to say the response text that ChatGPT said. So that you're going to say speaker dot run and wait until, and then that's basically what we want to do. So that's all we want to do. So let me go ahead and run this, and let's see if that works. Okay, before we do this, we need to pass in our API keys to OpenAI, and we don't have any of that specified. So here we load in our API keys, so we need to pass in our API keys to our OpenAI. Okay, so OpenAI dot you're going to say dot API key. You're going to go we're going to say API key is going to be equals to os dot get env, and you're going to go ahead and we called it here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this key right here and paste it right here. So this is going to go ahead and set our API key. So you can go ahead and keep a comment here, set API keys right there. So for chat gonna be chat GPT, just like that. Good. So that's once we have all that done, we are good to go. So let's go ahead and run the program again, and let's see. So run the program. Hello James.
Hello Prince, How can I help you?
What is the biggest planet in the solar system? Okay, we have an error right here. It says that the API key hasn't been passed. So let me just go ahead and clear this, and let's figure out why the API key hasn't been passed. Okay, so we're saying open AI and then get the API key. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up this. Okay, the env file is right here, so just saying to load the env file, and this is gonna be .env file path, and then to specify the env file. I wonder why it's not picking up. That's the okay. So let's see the same text we have right here. Paste that right there. So I wonder why it's not picking up there. So we say OpenAI dot API key is always dot get. So let me just copy this and try to print it right here, and let's run the program one more time. Okay, you can see it's not getting our API key for some reason. So let's see why it's not getting our API key. So from .env import load env, and that's done. And then finally we're going to say load this env, so env. So why it's not, let's just remove this and let's try this out. Okay, right now it's getting our API key. So I don't know why it's not really, when I specify the path, it doesn't get. Maybe I'm making a mistake right there. Okay, so let's not worry much about that. I think if let me just go back to what I did. Okay, this again I forgot the dot, so it's gonna be /env because this file has a dot extension. So that's my mistake right there. So let me clear the terminal and then run this again. So we have, okay, so hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
What is the largest planet in the solar system?
None.
So that's the wrong answer, right? I didn't get this right. So let me just use my wake up word again and ask it another question. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
What is the largest solar system? That's the wrong question, right? So let me just exit this and clear this again. I actually made a mistake myself. Okay, let's run this again. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
What is the largest planet in the solar system?
None.
Okay, that's wrong again. Okay, let's ask another question. Hello James. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
What is 2 plus 2?
None.
Okay, I think we're having an issue right here because the answers are a bit off and wrong. Okay, actually this is really bad. Okay, but let's see. I don't know, sometimes ChatGPT just behaves funny. Yeah. Okay, so let's make sure that you're using the right things to ask you the right question. Okay, so let's go back here and let's see. So we're just going openai.chatcompletion.create, and they'll say model turbo, okay, 3, and then messages. Messages is going to be a list of messages, and then first dictionary is role system content, and then you're passing the text, and you're getting the response text, which is basically none. That's why it's saying none. If you want, let me just check if I'm getting this correctly. So I'm saying okay, I know why this is getting none. So this is supposed to be message, message, and then finally saying dot get, and then passing in content right here. So that's basically it. So we're going to say choices, get the first index, dot message, and then dot content. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and run this code again. So sorry, my bad, that was an error on my end. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
What is the largest planet in the solar system?
Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. It is a gas giant with a diameter of about 86,881 miles, 139,822 kilometers, which is approximately 11 times the diameter of Earth.
Yeah, guys, so you can see there we have the bot working. So let's also ask another question. Hello, James.
Hello,
James.
Prince. How can I help you?
What is 2 plus 2?
As an AI language model, I can accurately tell you that 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Yeah, so good. Good, you're having a bit of progress right there. So good. So once we have that working and everything running, what's next to do? So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is finally generate, let me just see. We can go ahead and actually tell it to write a program for us. We can tell it to generate an image and stuff like that. So what I want to do is, first of all, we can include the function to generate an image. Okay. So let's add that functionality right here. So let's say generate an image. So just give it a command to generate an image, and it's going to generate an image and then open up the image in the browser. Okay. So let's say generate, if generate in, so text, text you have to convert again to lower to avoid any casing issue, and image, right? This is going to be a text image in text dot lower. What you're going to go ahead and do is simply say response. Response is going to be, you can say response text or anything you want. I'm just going to say response. You can say open AI. So forget my inconsistency with the variables there. So OpenAI dot image dot create. So create, and then finally we pass in the stuff. So I'm going to pass in prompt, and prompt is going to be the text, right? Whatever thing you're trying to prompt it to be. If you guys have heard, there's something called prompt engineering. Basically, people write different prompts for AI to work perfectly. So this is called a field called prompt engineering. In case you guys are interested on it and you want me to make a video on it, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to make a video on that. Okay, so we have passed in the size, and the size is going to be the size of the image. So it's going to be 124 pixels by 124 pixel image. That's a pretty big image, right? You can cut this in half if you want to. That should save a bit of like make it faster, right? So we're going to say response text dot response. We're going to go ahead and simply grab the data. Again, all this is on the official documentation of OpenAI, so I'm not going to go in much into depth. And again, you can print all this to just find what I'm just gonna get the response back. So that from the response, I'm pulling out this information. That's all I'm doing. I don't want to spend a lot of time printing out this. Again, you can print it out and see it for yourself. It's just a simple dictionary, right? So once we have the image URL, now we're going to go ahead and open this in the browser and display this. To do this, we are going to use this library right here, web browser, and this is a library that comes pre-installed with Python, so you don't have to do anything to get this library. So we're going to go ahead and simply say open image in browser. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and simply open that image in the browser, and you're going to say let me just go here and say open open, and then I'm going to go ahead and say open, let's go new. We're going to open this in a new browser, so I'm going to say image URL basically. So we're going to tell it which URL to open whenever the browser, which URL to search for whenever the browser opens. So that's basically, so now we have to say generate image, and then whatever you want to generate an image of. So right now it's a bit specific, but later on I can see how I can improve it on it, and if I find anything way that I can use to improve it, so you don't have to say generate image specifically. I'll let you guys know, okay, if I can make a video on it. So again, if you're enjoying this video, yeah, let's just keep going, and let's see if this actually works. Okay, so go back in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and clear the terminal, okay, and then run that code again. So I'm going to go ahead and use the wake up word. Hello, James. Hello, James.
Hello, Prince. How can I help you?
Generate image of man on the moon. So now you can
I'm
see.
sorry, but as an AI language model, I am not able to generate images or pictures. However, you can search for man on the moon on any search engine or image search engine, and you will find numerous pictures of the historic moment when Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon.
Yeah, so despite of that response, we actually got the image, right? And it opened up in the browser. This is all done automatically. So I'm not the one opening up this image in the browser. So you can see this is the image that open ChatGPT generated. And we can see a man there on the moon. Okay, that's a bit of funny image, but yeah, that's basically it. And now you can see a man on the moon. So now you also have the ability to generate an image and then open up the image in the browser, right? So you can see the image right here. It's a pretty big image. That's why it's a bit slow to load, but you can again you can customize it so that you don't have a big size image of 124 pixels by 124 pixels. You can reduce that. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and close this for now and exit all this. Okay, so I could have just said exit, right? So that would have exited the program. Okay, so now we have general stuff. We have image generation. What else can we do? Now we can also go ahead and try to generate a code and stuff like that. So to generate code, you can I'll just say write a program, and then to do this in which language, and then finally it's gonna go ahead and generate for you the code. So let's go ahead and implement that feature right here. So let's go ahead and say code. Let's say code generation. Okay, so I'm going to say if write a program. So if write a program in text.lower. Okay, so if write a program in text.lower, I'm going to say response is going to be equals to open AI dot completion dot create, and you're going to go ahead and create the code right here. So I'm going to say engine is going to be equals to text hyphen davinci and then 000003. Okay, I'm so glad they use the name davinci. Like, I really love davinci. So I'm going to go ahead and say text right here, and that's going to be the prompt. And you're going to go ahead and say the temperature. So the temperature is the degree of randomness or entropy. So we're going to, the higher the value of temperature to specify, the more random. Like, for example, if the AI is given 4 names, right? Let's say James, Helen, Thomas, and let's say Helen. Okay, this is a bit confusing. Let me just type it out. So let's say Helen, Thomas. Let's say Thomas, like Thomas Shelby. Let's say who else? Timothy. Okay, so Timothy, and then finally also let's say, yeah, so let's say we have these 3 names, right? So we have Helen, Thomas, and Timothy. So if you specify a higher degree of randomness, then the selection will be a bit random. But if you specify a lower degree of randomness, which is just like entropy, then the selection will be much more fixed, right? So if it's Helen, if you specify 0, maybe it can be Helen all the time. But if you specify maybe let's say 7, I don't know if you can reach 7. I think maybe 0.5 or something like that. Then you might get Helen, Thomas, or between it might alternate. Okay, so that's basically just like if you want to make the response a bit like not like let me just say like statically generated, something like that. So I'm going to say max underscore token. If you guys want me to make videos more about open AI and how to do prompt engineering, you guys can let me know in the comment section below. So I'm going to say P, and P, I'm going to say P is going to be 1, and let me not forget the colon right there, colon, and I'm going to say the frequency underscore penalty, and you can specify frequency penalty as 0, and you're going to also go ahead and specify frequency underscore presence penalty, presence underscore penalty, and the presence penalty you're going to leave that to be 0 as well. Again, if you want this all on the future documentation of ChatGPT. If you want OpenAI, if you want to go and read about it, it's absolutely fine. Again, if you guys want me to make a video on prompt engineering, let me know in the comment section below. So now we have that done. I want to go ahead and do a couple of things. So I'm going to say if let me just say if choice, let's see if we can get this right. So okay, let me just go ahead and say if choice. Okay, so if choice in a response, right? So if choice in response, we're going to go ahead and say x is going to be equals to the response, and then go ahead and actually get the choice part of that response. And then we're going to go ahead and say if the length of x is greater than 0, then you're going to go ahead and simply do the following. Say response text. You're going to go ahead and say response text is going to be equals to x. You're going to go ahead and grab the very first element and then finally grab the text part of it. Again, this is just a dictionary. Okay, you guys can go ahead and print it out and see why I'm specifying these specific steps. Okay, so it's really nothing complicated. You can just print out the dictionary and then see why I'm picking up these specific parts. Okay, so I'm going to say also going to say response text is going to be equals to just an empty thing. Okay, so this is checking if you have any response, and then finally we are picking up the first one and getting the text of it. That's because sometimes it may give you multiple options, right? So you're picking up the very first option, which has the biggest like accuracy. Okay, and we are picking up the text part of which has the code that you want to. In case there's no response, you're going to set the response text to be just an empty string. Okay, so you can print out the response if you want to see it, but I'm not going to print out. I'm going to do an if condition right here. So I'm going to check if you have said Python in the word text, then you're going to create a .py file and save the code inside of it. If you have said JavaScript instead of the text, like when you are speaking, you're going to go ahead and save the code inside of the JS file. So I'm going to go ahead and simply say if let's say Python, so Python in text.lower. Okay, always make sure to convert it to lowercase to avoid any casing issues. Okay, so once we have that, I'm going to say file underscore name is going to be equals to now you're going to go ahead and write a function to generate this file name. Okay, so for now let's just comment this out and just write pass. Okay, let's write pass for now. So now let's write the code to generate the file. Basically, you write a function to generate the file name. Okay, so let's go ahead right here. Let me see, I can just keep it right here. So function to so function to generate file name. Okay, so we're going to have a function right here called generate underscore random underscore file underscore name, and you're going to go ahead and have basically you're going to go ahead and generate a file name. This is going to be turned to as a string, so I'm going to say str. I'm just going to be using type hint. Okay, so in my videos, if you have watched my introduction to Python video, I have talked about like type hints in Python. These are just some new features in Python. If you haven't heard of it yet, you can check out my introduction to Python series where we talk about type hints. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say base name is going to be equals to, we're going to have a base name with GPT underscore code underscore file. Okay, base name is going to be our base name. Now we're going to say suffix because you're trying to generate a random file. So I'm going to say date. Let me just import date time right here. So I'm going to say import date time, just like that. So I'm going to say date time dot date time dot now dot strf time, and then finally we're going to go ahead and simply we're going to go ahead and pass in some string characters. So you're going to get the year, the month, the day, just some like, and then finally we get the hour, and then we get the minutes, and then finally we get the seconds. So this is just going to go ahead and generate a file that's going to have the year, the month, the day, and then finally the hour or the time in which that file was generated. And if we're going to say file underscore name is going to be equals to which is what I say we're going to join these two this string that's right here with this string right here. You're going to join them without using an underscore. So I'm going to say join. This is going to go ahead and say underscore dot join, and you're going to pass in a dictionary right here. We want base name and suffix, just like that. So that's basically what we want to have right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and simply return file name. So that's going to only generate the file name without the extension. Okay, so you can actually just print copy this file function, put it in a Python interpreter, look at the output of this function. Okay, so I'm not going to go into depth about that. So that's just going to generate the file name and then join the file names. Basically this name right here and the information is going to generate right here is going to join the two with an underscore. Okay, so once we have that generated, we can go back to the code right here and down right here where we kept pass right here. So good, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that and comment this. So I'm going to say file name, and file name is going to be generate random file name. We're going to call that function generate the file name first. I'm going to say file name. We're going to now add with our extension because we know that file name is the code is a Python code, so we're going to go ahead and add to it dot .py file, .py, sorry, .py extension to make the py file. Okay, so we're going to do this for a couple of languages, so you can do this for all the languages that you know. So I'm going to do this for, it's going to be JavaScript. You can do it for Java. So JavaScript is going to be a JS file, right? So you can also do it for Java. It's going to be Java files. I think they have the Java extension to them, so it's going to be Java instead of JavaScript. And then you can also have the C++. So now C++, what I found out through a bit of testing is that you have to say C++, because actually if you say C++, it's not doing C++ like with a sign of plus, it's actually typing out the word plus, right? So you have to say C++, and you're going to go ahead and say dot. It's going to be, if it's a C++ file, C++ code is going to be the .cpp, right? So you can also add Golang and all that, you know, you can add everything in here. So yeah, you can add other options right here. So this is going to be a bit modified because you're going to be using Golang, which can be Go or Golang. So you're going to go ahead and go a bit in depth there. So go a bit in depth. So Golang, or we can also add another expression right here. You can also copy this and you can say, or this, you can say Go. So you can also say in Go. So you can say write a program in Go or write a program in Golang. So basically we're just trying to catch all that. Okay, so in here I'm just going to go ahead and say Go. Okay, so that's going to be our file extension. So we have all this right here. So that's a bunch of if statements, I know. Yeah, so once we have that there, we can go ahead and say with open. Now we're going to open that file that we just created. We're going to say file name, file name. And if you open the file name, you're going to open it in write mode. So we're going to open it in write mode. We're going to open it as f, and then finally we're going to go and say you can just say f.write, and then finally we write the response text in there. So that's basically it. And then finally, after you have that response written inside of the file, now what next? Now the thing left now is to actually go ahead and open this up. First of all, yeah, to make like open your VS Code and then finally show you the code inside of that file. But for now, let's actually make sure that the file is working and everything, the code is being generated. So I can see we have an error right here. So I don't know where that error is. Let's see if I save this file. I can't really. Okay, so .create. So it seems we're having an error right here. Okay, I don't know where that error is. I can't really spot the error for now. So engine is text Vinci, and then finally we close that. So open ai.completion.create, and then we finally open that up, and then we say the prompt is gonna be text. Okay, so we have forgot a comma right here, so my bad. So once we have that done, I'm just going to go ahead and run the code again. So this is going to make sure that we generate the file and then finally save the code inside of the file. So let's actually say write a C++ program to print hello world. Okay, so let's run the program. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program in C++ to print hello world. Okay, we got an error right here. So it says that this doesn't exist. So I think I made an error right here. I think I got the naming wrong. So this is text Da Vinci. So okay, not Da Vinci, it's just Da Vinci. So yeah. So yeah, let's run this again. So we run the code one more time. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in C++. Okay, we seems also to have another issue right here. It says okay, right here. So it says that in line 57 we have an error. So line 57, which is going to be response equals to OpenAI dot completion dot create, and you're passing in engine equals to text Da Vinci 003, and then prompt is going to be text, temperature is going to be 0, max tokens, okay, max tokens, I think I got that wrong, top P is 1, frequency penalty is 0, and then frequency presence, okay, that's okay. So once I have this done, let me make sure I want to remove one print statement I have that's printing out our API key. I don't want that being shown. Okay, so once I have that, I go ahead and run this one more time. So let me just check. Yeah, the video is still being recorded. So once I have that, let me just go ahead and run this one more time again. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in C++.
Hashtag include iostream. Using namespace std. Int main. Code hello, world. Return 0.
Okay, so let's go back in here. So now if you go in here, we're supposed to see a file, which actually we don't see any file. So that's a bit strange. I didn't actually generate a file. So what's the error? So let's go ahead and see. Okay guys, so after I just took some time to think about our program, the reason why we're getting the error is, let me just show you what we're getting the error, because we're never even reaching the part where we're actually printing out, actually saving the response, or getting the response. The reason why is that I just try to print it out and I don't get any output. And the reason being that, let me just fix this for a second right here, fix this typo. So if I go ahead and, okay, so sorry for that, let me fix that. And let me go ahead and try to run this program one more time. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in C++. Okay, good. So we got this error. So that's not what I really want to talk about. Let me just go back and indent this. Let me just go back and run this one more time. Close this and then run this again. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in C++.
Here's the program to print hello world in C++. C++. Hashtag include iostream. Int main. Std code hello, world. Std and L. Return 0. The code object is part of the standard library's iostream header, and it's used to print text to the console. Std and L is a manipulator that inserts a new line character, which performs the same function as \n.
Okay, now you can see it's working.
Return 0 at the end of the main. Function indicates that the program has finished executing successfully.
Okay, so now you see that done. It shows that you're working, but we're not getting any file in here. And the reason why is that I have to say choices and not choice. It's choices. Okay, so that was my error. So I have to say choices. Okay, so once I have that done, let's go ahead and clear the terminal and then run the program one more time. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in Python. Okay, we still seem to be having an issue. So this is actually choices in response. Okay, actually here is also choices. My bad. Okay, so choices as well. Okay, my bad. Okay, so now let's run the program again. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the program again. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in Python.
Print, hello, world. Note, make sure to include the double quotes around the text hello, world, to indicate that it is a string.
Exit. Hello, James. Hello, James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Exit.
Bye Prince.
Okay, so now you can see some functionality right there. So now you have the file right here, and this file has the code hello world in Python, right? So actually correct. So yeah, that's basically it. So you can also tell it to write for you something in C++ again. Once we, and then one thing I think we do once we have the code written, right there, right here, I'm printing it out. I don't want to print it out, so get rid of that. And also, once we have the code printed out, I don't see the reason why we have to say the text, right? So we can just go ahead. I think we can go ahead and say continue once we have the code printed. So let me just go ahead and try to find this code right here. So this line right here. Okay, so right here I want to go ahead and say continue. So continue. So continue with the iteration, right? So that's basically it. And then I also want to go ahead and save this into open up a code editor to show the file that we just created. So I'm going to go ahead and simply say change get the working directory. So current working directory is going to be equals to os.get current working directory. Get the current working directory. So once I get the current working directory, I'm going to say os.open popen, just like that. And the popen, and I'm going to go ahead and pass in an f string, right? I'm going to say change directory into our current working directory. So current working directory. Again, you're going to go ahead and simply run the code and say open up VS Code, and then finally you're going to pass in the file name. Okay, so file name, so file name, just like that. So this is going to go ahead and open up the file inside of our VS Code. Okay, so this command is just to open up VS Code, and this command you're going to change directory into our current working directory, and then finally we're going to where the file is found, right? Because the file is found in our current working directory, and then finally it is going to use this command to open up VS Code. Okay, so I'm not going to go into depth about how the terminal works. I have a lot of videos on it. I also have videos on introduction to Linux commands, the like for beginners. So you can check out those videos, and it has all these instructions. Okay, so I'm just going to, I can even indent this inside of the open, right, with the open context manager. So that's basically it. So this is going to simply go ahead and open the edit. So in this case I'm using VS Code. So if you're using a different editor, you want to use a different editor, you can search the command to open up that editor instead of the command prompt. So I'm just going to go ahead and try this one more time. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program in JavaScript. Okay, I've already scrolled this up, so let me just exit this and run this one more time. So that's one of the challenges I'm having right now, is that I have to say some words, right, some keywords. So that's really pissing me off, but I have to work on it, and I'll make future videos on that. Hello James. Hello James.
Hello Prince, how can I help you?
Write a program to print hello world in JavaScript. Yeah, so you can see now that works perfectly. So now it actually said Java instead of JavaScript. So I actually said Java. I think maybe I'm the one who made an error right here. So okay, Java. Okay, I think it made an error right here. So if JavaScript, yeah, I think it made an error. But yeah, basically we have the code there written. You can see we have the hello console.log hello world. Is that is in the wrong file, right? So that's basically it. So let's go ahead and exit. Hello James. Hello James. Hello James. Okay, now it's not responding, and I think I know why it's not responding. Okay, I think it's not responding because of something right here. Because of this continue statement, I can just go ahead and remove that continue statement. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. So once we have this done, we are good to go. So now we have the code, everything working perfectly. You're able to generate images, you're able to generate code, you're able to ask ChatGPT any question using a simply voice commands, right? So in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and actually work on modifying this, separating this into different Python files, adding more features to this in the next video. So guys, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video so far, make sure that you like the video, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you share this content with anyone who you think might find it helpful. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Keep safe.